Power Rangers could become the mockery of all superheroes, and this is what we are going to discuss in this video. Soon a comic book called Power Rangers Infinity is going to be released, and recently they have shown some previews of this new story. This comic is not going to be connected to any other story, and it is going to be a single issue. This means that it will not have other episodes and that it will be a book a little longer than the regular comics. In these early previews of the story, we've been able to see some new Power Rangers teams, and honestly, it seems like a tease towards this franchise. We understand that all franchises can have crazy stories, but if a franchise is trying to get out of a bad situation, then this is not the time to create absurd stories, and they should take things very seriously. Power Rangers is going through the worst time in franchise history, and these stories can only create terrible expectations for possible new future viewers. I am going to show you some of the new teams that will appear in the new comic, and you are going to judge in the comments. The main team of this story is supposed to be this one, a team composed of very different members, since that's what the main idea of this comic is all about. This is not something so crazy as this has happened before. Even the Omega Rangers team is almost as crazy as this team. The craziest thing about this new team is not the giant bear, the craziest thing about it is that the Blue Ranger is an old woman. We know that the power of the grid can change anyone, but imagine how ridiculous it would be to see an old lady fighting. The other team I'm going to introduce you to is the Power Rangers Paladin Force, which are medieval rangers in armor, and honestly this team isn't that bad. Even if they manage to create a team like this in a live-action series, it could be great, but that's going to depend on the execution. When Power Rangers started in 1993, many other producers were inspired to create colorful superhero teams, and with that they created teams as horrible as this one. This looks like a bad combination of Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones, and Power Rangers. I'm going to introduce you to the latest team, and then we're going to talk about how this may affect the future of Power Rangers. The most ridiculous team of all is Power Rangers Personal Trainer Force, and it is made up of several trainers turned Power Rangers. Actually, this team looks like wrestling fighters, and the helmets are the worst thing I've ever seen. Since we haven't read the comic, we can't comment on the story, and we don't know if these teams might just be figments of some character's imagination. As far as we know, the story of this comic is going to focus on diverse equipment, so it is not strange to think that this equipment is going to exist in this story and will not be an invention of some character's imagination. In the 90s they also created a team of heroes similar to this new Power Rangers team, and honestly this is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen. How can this impact Power Rangers in the future? As we all know, the future of Power Rangers is uncertain, and as of this moment no one knows what is going to happen, since all the news about the reboot has faded away. To give a brief summary, we can say that what was known about the reboot was that they were going to give us a series for a more adult audience, and this project was going to be directed by Jonathan Entwistle and Jenny Klein. Another detail is that the episodes were going to last 60 minutes each, and that the story was going to be about a new unknown team. We had also been informed that this new universe was not going to be connected to the universe we have known all our lives, and that the series and movies were all going to be connected. In addition to this, the series and movies were going to be released on the Netflix platform, and this was going to be a great advantage since it was going to be easier to watch all the new Power Rangers content. After having all this preview, news recently surfaced that Power Rangers was no longer going to premiere on the Netflix platform, and even though we all thought it was just going to be a change of platform, apparently this goes much further than that. The information about the new Power Rangers project that appeared on the IMDb website also disappeared, and the designer Tokujay, who was apparently in charge of creating the new costumes, had complained on social media about the cancellation of everything. Even though we have been treating all of this as a rumor from the beginning, since Netflix and Hasbro have not given any official news about all of this, with all these things that have been going on, apparently the rumors may be real. After all of this has been explained, we need to look at how the new comic may affect the future of Power Rangers. We all know that what the franchise needs in order to rise up is a drastic change towards a more adult audience, and this is because the franchise needs more serious stories. All of that involves having a serious team that is not a mockery or a joke for those potential new fans. We know that satires always have an audience that will support such projects, but Power Rangers has never been a satire. Right now, Power Rangers needs to have a serious team that has a dark story and that new fans can see the franchise as a new opportunity. We all know that the big franchises like Marvel and DC are no longer delivering what fans are looking for, and this can become a great opportunity for other superhero franchises. Power Rangers can take this opportunity to capture the attention of those fans who are looking for better superhero stories, and I think this franchise has what it takes to be one of the best. Power Rangers is full of fantasy, battles, violence, time travel, special effects, weapons, costumes, villains, and many other things that are needed to have a good story for this kind of audience. Because Power Rangers has always been a franchise aimed for a child audience, many adults who are superhero fans do not take Power Rangers as something serious, and that is why they are unaware of all the potential that this franchise has. If they start showing stories like this one about ridiculous teams like the ones that appear in the new comic, then no one will take this franchise very seriously, and it will be very difficult to take it to a new level. Another important issue we should mention is that we don't know if this could be the way they want to take the reboot, and maybe that's why Netflix didn't want to continue with the project. I know this sounds a bit confusing, but let me explain all the impact that things as simple as a comic book have and everything it can impact. Sometimes when a new series is going to be released, the franchise starts releasing part of the story in other things in order to give some hints to the audience, and this also works as advertising. This is usually done by releasing new toys about the new series or movie that is coming out, and we don't know if this is what may be happening in Power Rangers. Remember, this is simply a theory of mine, but these are things we have seen all our lives in the movie world. If the new path Hasbro wants to take with the Power Rangers reboot is to create teams as ridiculous as these, then we can start saying goodbye to the franchise. We understand that the themes are sometimes very complicated to create, but it's one of the most important parts of Power Rangers, and they should take that job very seriously. Let's hope that this story is just a comic book for pure entertainment, and that it is not the direction Hasbro wants to take with Power Rangers. If you would like to know more about this new story, like this video and subscribe for more new Power Rangers teams.